Thomas was a difficult baby to feed right from the day one. By the time he was 6 months old, he was literally starving to death. He was put into hospital, and 2 weeks later, after several tests, they diagnosed him with a brain tumour growing off his optic nerve, an optic glioma. It's a terrible diagnosis, particularly for us, I think, because Thomas wouldn't eat. You feel like you're failing him as a parent, and then you're terrified that you can lose your child, and also terrified of the treatment. Thomas had 70 weeks of chemotherapy first time round, and the impact of that is horrifying. I think the same day that we were told Thomas's diagnosis, we were met with a social worker in the hospital. In that meeting, my wife asked her if we'd get counselling support, and the social worker said, "This is it, you get one meeting with me and you kind of be on your own." But she did refer us to the Childhood Cancer Association. So within a day, within 24 hours, we met with someone at the association, and they started supporting us straight away. So my boy Thomas was diagnosed with a brain tumour at 6 months. After treatment and a few years down the track, we thought he was doing okay. When he was 7, he had a regular scan, and a day later the oncologist rang me and told me that his tumour was back. I was in my office at work, and I managed to grab my keys and my phone. I walked out to my car, and I just sat in the car, and I genuinely couldn't really think what to do next. I couldn't phone any of my family or friends because they love him and I knew they'd be devastated. Couldn't go home because my wife was at home with the kids. So I sat there really paralysed, emotionally paralysed. I eventually drove out of the car park and I rang the Childhood Cancer Association, spoke to one of the psychologists, Anna, and I drove around the block for 45 minutes while she talked me through it. She didn't fix it, obviously, but she got me to a place where I was able to go home and tell my wife and tell Thomas, and got me where I could be the dad and the husband that I wanted to be, to get us, to help us get through that battle. So yeah, I often think I'll never pay that phone call back. If the Childhood Cancer Association didn't exist, I don't really know how I'd cope. It was so essential for me both times to have the support of the counsellors, and then all the other services that we offer, the bereavement support or the wheelchair support or educational support. I don't really know how people would cope without that support. It's a devastating diagnosis, and then to do it without the support of the Childhood Cancer Association would be horrendous. I don't know how I would have coped. I just know that I couldn't have supported my son how I wanted to through his battle without the support. So I don't like to think of the association not being there, and I don't know how people would cope without it. I guess as a father, you grow up thinking about how you'll raise your children and protect your family, and for me that was really difficult. I struggled with not being able to protect my son, and really struggled with how I would look after him and hold my family together. It's a challenge anyway in society, but it's ridiculously difficult under those circumstances.